Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the workshop. It is fantastic to have you here because today we are launching the 4 weeks of forging. It is a way to get you to challenge yourselves in the workshop and help push your hobby further. Today's episode is going to be making a leaf and a bottle opener and even combining the two. But before we get stuck in, let's thank today's sponsor, which is SKILLSHARE. SKILLSHARE is the online learning community with over 25,000 video courses in everything imaginable, from business to painting to illustration to videography. You can learn it all on SKILLSHARE. And the first 1,000 of you that click my link in the description below are going to be getting 2 months SKILLSHARE Premium for free. Alrighty, so this is a bar of 5/8 round mild steel, and I want to make a leaf and a bottle opener out of it and combine the two. So let's get started. So what is 4 weeks of forging? Well, the idea is, over the course of the next 4 weeks, every week, we're going to be giving you a project to try at home and get stuck in with. We want to see what you come up with, and every week we're going to be picking 2 winners from that week to give away some cool prizes to. And the winners are going to be judged on creativity and cleanliness of the forging. So it's a very loose thing. We want to see what awesome things you guys come up with and what awesome challenges you set for yourself. Back to the steel at hand. So I'm trying to mess around and have some fun, and what I've done is I've isolated this piece of 5/8 round material, and I've created myself a little rectangular pad so that I can forge a bottle opener out of this. How am I going to do this? I'm going to need to punch a hole, and I don't have the right size punch. What I do have, however, is this 3/4 inch round, 7-inch long piece of 4140 hot rolled steel, which is going to be perfect for us to make a punch. We have some of this up on the site too, so if you want to make some tools, check that out. Let's put this in the forge and forge a slot punch. Okay, to make a slot punch, we've got to start off making a square punch and then a round punch before it becomes a slot punch. Alrighty, that's a slot punch. 4140 is an oil hardening steel. So I'm going to heat it up to a dull orange or so. Into the oil we go. I'm just going to quench the first half of my heat. And now I'm going to scratch it. You can do it with a wire brush or an abrasive disc, and we'll watch the temper colors run. We want a yellow up at the tip or a straw up at the tip. Okie doke, we'll arrest the temper. I've now locked it in the vise so I can take a file on these sharp edges. If you have sharp edges on anything and you hit it, it's a really great way to cause chips. All right, let's use it. We're punching a hole. There's the little plug that we punched out. When you forge a bottle opener, you want this hole to be about 1 inch or 25 millimeters. You can measure it, or when you're pretty close, you can just take a bigger drift over a 1-inch hole and easily size it like that. Once you've got it sized, you've got to make the little ledge that actually pulls the cap off the bottle. So you go about 3/4 on, 1/4 off with a bob punch, which is a ball end punch. Make sure it stays warm. There we go. Okie dokie, so what we've done is we forged a point on our leaf. We then isolated our leaf, making sure to use the rounded edge of the anvil and avoiding any cold shuts by taking our care as we get it set up. And then I've drawn out this long stem. Now, something that I saw a lot when I first ever started making leaves, and I know a lot of folks that are getting into blacksmithing are experiencing this problem too, is stress fractures occurring, cracks occurring right in here at the shoulder. And it is utterly infuriating because you're trying to make leaves, and you're trying to practice your craft, and your leaves are snapping off all the time. It's no fun. I want to explain a little bit of why that happens. So, most of the time when one makes a leaf, one is making the stem thicker up here than it is up here. Which means, especially when you're not using a nicely radiused edge of your anvil, but you're using a sharper edge, you're going to end up with a stress concentration. We're going to exaggerate everything here. But what happens is once you've made your stem, you're then going to proceed on to forging your leaf. So you start hammering all over here. But invariably, as you hammer in this area, sometimes you hold this up, sometimes you hold it down, sometimes you have errant hammer blows that twist it. So you end up with this leaf end bending and flopping and wibbling all around just from the pure inertia and force involved with forging things. But when you have this bending and flopping all around, and you have a very steep short taper down to nothing with a sharp angle especially, this area here becomes the weakest part of this entire structure, and all of that bending gets concentrated right in there, in that weak point, causing such an extreme amount of bending in a very small area, which is how stress fractures of stress concentrations develop. So that means when we're making leaf keychains, for example, we don't have a taper up like this. In fact, we make a reverse taper so that the thickest part of the stem is up here, right next to the leaf transition. The way that this is designed, I don't have a reverse taper. It does taper forwards, but I've made sure that it's very long and slender before we get to that transition, so that if any bending is going to happen, we can spread those bends over at least an inch of material, avoiding those concentrations of stress, which often cause leaves to fracture. It's leaf making time. Diagonals up in the middle. Let's hammer it down. Oh, it's okay.
It's okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
I hope that ends up in the video. Alright, so here is the finished leaf bottle opener. I took a lot of inspiration on this leaf from Jacob Farm's work, so that's @FarmandForge on Instagram. Check out his page, he does the most beautiful work, and you'll get some great inspiration looking at his forging. And I think that this is rather fun, and I really hope that you guys get stuck into it. We don't have any beer in the workshop, so this tape measure will have to do. Yep, there we go. That's a bottle opener, folks. I'd be thrilled if you would enter our 4 weeks of forging. The instructions are very simple. You make the project, you tag, hashtag the integer 4 weeks of forging on Instagram. You also then tag Alec Steele Co. and Alec Steele. We're gonna have 2 winners of this week's 4 weeks of forging. One of them is gonna be receiving a merch pack of cool t-shirts and stuff. And the other is gonna be receiving a pack of steel that you can use for all the other projects that we have coming up. Speaking of which, we're going to be making tongs next week. After that, it's going to be a hammer. After that, it's going to be an axe. We have the steel for that for you. Those prizes are going to be for the top 2 participants, but we're going to be randomly picking anybody that enters this week to give away our leaf to. Today's sponsor, folks, has been SKILLSHARE, online video learning community with over 25,000 courses. So I really hope that you check them out. A course you can start watching and learning from today is Creative Writing Bootcamp, Start a Brand New Story by Myla Goldberg. And you can watch and learn on the go because, of course, there is the Skillshare app. You can start on the computer, continue on the app, soak in information wherever you are to help you provide more value or be able to further your hobbies. So a thank you is owed to Skillshare for sponsoring this because they are giving the first 1,000 people that click the link in the description below 2 months of Skillshare Premium using just $10 a month for free. So check out Skillshare. Thank you guys for watching this. Be sure to enter the 4 weeks of forging. See you very soon. Bye-bye.